Welcome back, my friends, to the channel. This is Decoding with Cody. And in this decode, I am going to explain to you guys my theory that there are essentially two suns. However, one of them is a shining, bright sun, and the other one is a self-consuming black hole. And I'm going to show you how I found this symbolism from a wrestling character who you see right in front of you. His wrestling name is Sami Zayn, but his real name is Ramy Sabeh. And I'm going to show you the symbolism as I weave it through Egyptian, Nazi, and current symbolism to show you that this is the predominant symbolism in our world. Honestly, the two suns, the twins. However, one is a shining bright star and the other is a self-consuming black hole sun. If you guys remember the song Black Hole Sun, well, I'm going to show you why I believe all this is tied. So first of all, there's this wrestler in WWE, and he's a Canadian wrestler, but he's of Arabic descent. And his real name is listed as Ramy Sabeh, or Sabeh. But his stage name is Sami Zayn. So you guys are going to notice in this very first slide, before I even get to the sun symbolism, I want you guys to notice that the stage name that they chose for this character, his first name Sami and his last name Zayn, is a direct match, except for opposite. Do you guys see that? Zayn is forward 66, backwards 42, and Sami is forward 42 and backwards 66. Now, the symbolism here is very, very intricate because Sami is his first name, and forwards it equals 4266, and his last name Zayn equals 6642. Do you see how they did this, guys? It's perfect. Forwards and backwards, his first and last name are symbolic. Okay, also notice that his first name starts with an S, his last name starts with a Z. And I'm going to show you how this is symbolism of the two suns, the self-consuming black sun and the forwards-facing sun. I'm going to show you how this is tied together. So the first thing we need to know as a prerequisite for this information is the Eye of Ra, or Ra, the sun god, the Egyptian sun god. It's just spelled R-A, Ra. Okay, and you're going to notice that Sami Zayn's real name has the name Ra right in it, Ramy. Okay, and the Eye of Ra is the feminine action goddess, is the essentially the action of, or the, as you see here, guys, the eye is an extension. So it's not different from Ra, the sun. It's an extension. It's essentially the light that, so picture the sun as the entity, but picture the light as essentially the extension of the sun. It comes from the sun. And the light is what we call the very thing that gives us vision so we can see. And our eye is what lets us see. Do you see the symbolism? So the Eye of Ra is the extension or the power of the sun. Okay? The sun gives light, but the light is not different from the sun. The light is the sun, but the light seems to become a separate entity, all right? But really the light that we see is all from the sun. There is only the sun and its light. The sun illuminates itself, okay? But in this instance, guys, the sun, in the Egyptian mythology, the sun has the Eye of Ra, which is, again, considered the extension of Ra, the power, equated with the disk of the sun, but it often behaves as an independent goddess, okay? So let me show you how this all, brings this together in just this perfect way. So the Egyptian sun god Ra is the 18th letter R and the first letter A. When you add these two letters up, you get 19. Now, most of you who know the tarot card deck know that in the tarot cards, the 19th card in the tarot deck is the Sun card. And it's not a coincidence that the sun god, Egyptian sun god, Ra, equals 19. And the 19th letter is S. Okay? So you guys are going to notice something right off the bat about Sami Zayn. Remember, his real name was Rami, and his stage name is Sammy. All they did was take his original name, Ra, which is the 19, which is the sun god, and instead of keeping that, they changed and made his stage name Sammy. So they replaced the Ra, the R-A, with the S, which is still the 19th letter. Do you see what I mean, guys? It's still the 19 symbolism. They replaced his Ra with the S, which is the 19th letter. And again, the tarot card, the sun, is the 19th card. Now, his last name, Sabai or Sabay, starts with an S again, which is the 19. And his stage name is Sami Zayn. Okay? But notice the symbolism, guys. His real name starts with an S. His real last name starts with an S, but his stage first name starts with an S. Do you see how they did that? Now, his last name that's a stage name starts with a Z. Now, what's important about the Z, guys? Zayn. The Z is the backwards S, because a lot of times, and I'm going to show you how they made this very clear to us with their symbol of Sami Zayn. But what I'm saying, guys, is that the S and the Z are the backwards and forwards of each other. The S is the forward facing, and the Z is the backwards facing. They face each other. So the S and the Z are essentially like mirrors. And so Sami Zayn, his stage name, is symbolic of these two suns that face each other. The black sun, which is the Z, and the star and the sun, which is the bright sun, which is why our sun is spelled with an S. Okay? Now, just to prove this theory, there's a reason why WWE uses Sami Zayn's symbol, and they make both the S and the Z look alike. Notice that his symbol is an S and a Z it's his initials, but it's the S and the Z, but they both look the same, which is alluding to that they're the same sun, but they're facing each other, okay? And again, it's very clear. The symbolism here is the two gods, the forward-facing Z and the backwards-facing Z, which could also be two S's. And the key here, guys, is that when we add these two letters up, the S and the Z for Sami Zayn, you're going to get 45, which again takes you back to his real name and his stage name. So when you add S and Z, his initials, it equals 45. When you add his Sami Zayn in reverse reduction, it equals 45. When you add his real name, Rami Sabay, it equals 45. And of course, guys, when you add up the I of Ra, it's 45, just like Sami Zayn, just like Rami Sabay, and just like his initials, SZ. Now, in order to understand the black sun symbolism, we must first understand the Nazi Germany symbolism. Because the Nazis are known for the symbol, the black sun, which is a sun wheel, which you can see here, the symbol, guys, originated in Nazi Germany and later employed by the neo-Nazis and the other far-right individuals and groups. The symbol's design consists of 12 radical sig runes, similar to the symbols employed by the SS. Now again, guys, you have the SS. The Nazis were known as the SS. Again, going back to this sun symbolism. The 19th letter, Ra, is the sun god, equals 19. Okay? But notice that Nazi has the Z in it. So when you think of Nazi, you probably think of the letter Z because it's one of those rare words that has a Z in it. Okay? And to verify this theory, the Z is the black sun. Okay? Notice that when you type out the German word for the black sun, which is Schwarze, it's a direct match to the black sun, 181 and 64. All right? But to extend that even further, to verify that this Z is the black sun, notice that the German word for black sun, once again, is a direct match, but notice that the black sun and Schwarze equals 181. And remember, I told you that the sun god, Ra, is spelled Ra, which is the 18th letter and the first letter, which is 181. Okay, so Ra is the first letter, or the 18th letter, 18, and the first letter, A, which is 1. So 181, just like the black sun equals 181, and the Schwarze sun equals 181. Now notice, guys, how Nazi has a Z. But if you replace the Z in Nazi with an S, it sounds the same. Say the word Nazi with a Z and say the word Nazi with an S. Okay? And you'll notice that it's the same sound. But why did the Nazis use the Z? Because the Z is the backwards facing sun. It's facing to the left. It's facing the S. And so the Nazis, and why do you think they're known for the symbol of the black sun? Because they are representing and worshiping the black sun, which is the Z. Now, you'll even notice that if you spell Sami Zayn's last name, his stage name, Zayn, okay, and you rearrange the letters, you're going to get N-A-Z-Y, which sounds like Nazi again. Except for instead of an I, it's a Y. But notice that I and Y also sound the same. Do you notice the symbolism here? That these things are the same, but they're different. Okay? Nazi and Nazi. But if you rearrange Zayn, you can spell the word Nazi with a Y. And to conclude this part 1 of this decode, because there's going to be more parts to this, guys. There's a very famous thing in yoga where the yogis practice 108 sun salutations, which once again goes back to the sun worship. I want you guys to notice that sun worship is almost a direct match to Nazi German, or German Nazi, however you want to say it. This is not a coincidence. But what I want you guys to focus on here is the numbers 162 and 108. Sun worship equals 162 and 108, just like Nazi German. Okay? And before I get to this, guys, Sami Zayn's finishing maneuver, which means the move he uses to end his opponent, is called the Helluva kick. All right? So I needed to get that in there so you guys understand the context. Notice that Sami Zayn's move, Helluva kick, or Helluva, is a direct match to his real name, Rami Sabai, 81 and 162. But remember, the 162 is important, guys, because sun worship equals 162. Now notice that his stage name, Sami Zayn, equals 108, like sun worship. But notice that sun worship also equals 162, like his real name, Rami Sabai. So do you guys see how perfect it is? This is all about sun and sun worship. Absolutely, perfectly scripted. And this is a little lead-in to part 2 of this video, because there's a book called Day of Two Suns, okay? And it's by an author named Jane Diblin. And I'm going to show you in the next video how the group that Sami Zayn is currently in WWE is tied to this, because this book is about the Day of Two Suns, and this is the year after Adolf Hitler died, and the U.S. was conducting tests in the Marshall Islands of nuclear tests. Remember, the U.S. took the Nazi scientists, more specifically J. Robert Oppenheimer, and they brought him in to study nuclear bombs. And then, 1 year after Hitler dies, the U.S. is conducting nuclear tests in the Marshall Islands. I'm going to show you how this Marshall Islands symbolism is connected to the Pacific Islander symbolism and how the group that Sami Zayn currently is in WWE is tied to the Pacific Islanders. So anyways, guys, I'm sorry for the background noise. I'm recording this video in a place that has a lot of background noise. But I hope you guys understood the symbolism here. And I hope you guys look forward to the next video in the series, The Day of the Two Suns. See ya.